All right. Good morning, good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. My name is Jarrett McAllister, your mentor and co-host, alongside my main man, Jonathan Brunasso. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm doing fantastic here in Vegas, working remotely part-time, hiking Red Rock, selling deals. I was poolside, sold 2 deals on Sunday. I think we had a record-breaking weekend, guys, and we got an exciting announcement hot off the presses. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to say it in 2 seconds. Do you know what I'm talking about, Jarrett?
I have no clue, so why don't you just tell everyone?
I do.
Don't spoil it, Larry. Don't spoil it. Larry, let's just jump to it.
Woo!
43. Powur is Inc. 43, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Yeah.
Your nationwide solar company, the fastest nationwide solar company, right? It's important to say it's the fastest growing nationwide solar company, not just a local mom and pop in the entire country. Inc. 43. Irene guaranteed me that marketing materials and videos and social media posts are coming out hot off the presses, hopefully this week. So stay tuned for that. But guys,
we kind of get used to growing really fast, but that's a big deal because a lot of the leadership last summer, last August said this is probably the last time, we're going to be this high, in the Inc. list. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, to go from 100 million revenue to still be Inc. 43, that's a huge, huge deal. So please check out the website in the chat, copy and paste that, share it, social media posts and images and flyers from Powur to come soon. But that is a huge deal, guys, to let your clients know, to let the homeowners know, to let sales reps know, salespeople, when you're attracting them to join Powur. It's time to take over the world this year, ladies and gentlemen. So super fun.
That is awesome.
Switch your headers for Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. Put the image that comes out in your header.
That's right. All right, just to back up a little bit. Again, thanks, Jarrett and Solar Warrior Tribe Powur hitters. Everyone is welcome here from Powur. And before we jump into success stories, Tom, did you have a quote of the day?
I do, and it's from Jeffrey Gitomer, who wrote the Sales Bible, which is a great book to read. He said, differentiate with value or die with price. Differentiate with value or die with price. PowerCare is a great way to add value to our customers' equipment, financing fees that are at or below many of our competitors, along with that 1.5% financing revenue share that we now get on the 10th of every month. We got lots of value. So make sure that you sell that value.
I love it. Great quote, Tom, as always. Yeah, both to homeowners or attracting and recruiting. I sat at a table with 5 potential enterprises last night here, and I told them about the loan rebate. And they were blown away because they know our competition has dealer fees, guys, that are 2 to 3% higher than we are. And they're not making 1.5% off of every single freaking loan. So tons and tons of value here.
That's killer.
Thank you, Tom.
And Ramsey, I think the name of that book he just asked, you said it was the Sales Bible, Tom?
If you
Yes. Yeah, just look up Jeffrey Gitomer, Gitomer, and he's got a bunch of books, but Sales Bible is really good.
Cool. Thank you, Tom. All right, I see we got a few hands raised for some success stories already. So Les, I'm seeing your hand raised. Drop us with some knowledge on this lovely Tuesday.
Well, first of all, congratulations on just a company-wide Powur Day. I've heard nothing but outstanding and fantabulous things about that. I had my grandma who passed away, who was 102, so I wasn't able to be there. But we had a phenomenal weekend. I definitely will say that the power of a deadline is something that is unbelievable. when we had the deadline of the rates changing, it made just a tremendous difference. We ended up doing 17 deals, not all power. We ended up doing 7 power deals out of the 17 for the week. I have a kind of a broker style concept, but man, I tell you, it was so exciting to then talk to a couple of Titan agents that we spoke to yesterday. And I talked about the finance part of it. And I'll just say that Titan's rates are literally 4 or 5% higher than what Power has already on the finance part. But then to share with them that they would then get paid. I've got 3 appointments set up in the next 2 days to sign them all up as enterprise guys. And so they're pretty freaking excited. And I'll just say this. I thought initially that Power was a solar company. I was confused. I was wrong. I would like to apologize for that, because the platform of what Power has to provide is tremendous in the width of what we're doing. And so we're not just a solar company. I think we're a lot more. And that's why I'm excited about the company.
Well said, Les. As always, wise words, my friend. Glad to have you here and have a great Arizona mentor on the team. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's go Chaz and Chris. So Chaz, what success story would you like to share?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm feeling super pumped today, super grateful to be here. I just wanted to share a success story that my mentor, Adam and DRC, just had last night. So just quick backstory. I mean, I introduced myself here a couple weeks ago, but I was a senior IT project manager at the financial firm Vanguard for the past decade. And I've known Adam for some years and was seeing the success and the people that he was helping with in solar, and he inspired me to pursue this full time. So we were actually down in the jungles of Costa Rica on a retreat a few months ago, and being surrounded by him and seeing how power was changing and positively affecting his life and his client's life, I decided to leave my job and pursue solar full time. So, I have a house, a wife, and 2 dogs here in the Philadelphia area. And my wife held it down here, and I left and went to LA with Adam for a month. And we stood up our own lead gen. We started increasing ad spend, and I put pretty much everything that I had into this solar business. And we were having a good amount of sits per day from the lead gen, which was cool, but it was like I was doing a lot of calling, like interacting with people, like doing our own inside sales, just me getting familiar with what works and what didn't, because I want to build a team and be able to, train people to do what I'm doing here as well. And we had a couple clients that were super interested. We closed some smaller systems, which felt great. But we had been working over the past 2 weeks on a deal. It was originally a $6.4 million mansion in Santa Monica, but I looked at it on Redfin yesterday. It was a $7.4 million mansion, and we just closed on them last night. So huge shout out to Adam for following up with that client over the past couple of weeks. I'm actually flying back out to LA tonight, so I'll be there. We're going to meet with the client, get the site assessment done. Super grateful to have that connection. He's actually a movie director in Hollywood that has a great network and a Tesla, and he's super interested in solar. And I'm just super excited to be here with Power. Feel really supported and inspired by both the Brunasso guys that I've been interacting with. Shout out to you guys, and huge shout out to Adam DRC for his faith and leadership in me.
Thank you, Chaz. Wow, what a success story for Adam to fly out here with you and crush it in LA and close a $7-9 million house. Hope you share some video, take some pictures, share it on the Facebook group, my man. We'd love to see it. Congrats to you. Appreciate it.
Will do for sure.
There's these perfect commercials this morning. I'll pay you guys later, okay? I mean, it's too good, too good. Chris, go ahead. And I think, Chris, too, you really saw that the interest rate hike as a selling point was so eye-opening for you, and it helped you close and drive urgency like we don't do too often.
Exactly. Yeah, I did 6 soft credit checks with Mosaic this weekend, and it was I sold 3 of them already. 3 of them already signed. 2 of them were with brand new reps that joined under me, which is awesome, and we're hoping for the other 3 to sign in the next day or 2. And yeah, it was super eye-opening for me to build that strong urgency for my homeowners. Hey, interest rates are increasing on Monday. If you want to get this locked in, we just have to do a soft credit check. Sign 2 DocuSigns by Sunday. No pressure, but just want to let you know what's happening in the industry, right? And man, I haven't had 6 soft credit checks in a day probably this year. So that was so eye-opening for me to realize just how important that urgency is. I was joking on Facebook. I said, I think I'm going to tell my customers the interest rate's increasing every 2 weeks. I'm just going to use that as an excuse. Even though Mosaic went up already, I'm going to tell all my other customers that interest rates are going up next month. Like, I'm just going to use that as an excuse. And all the homeowners know interest rates are increasing right now. So just want to stress to everyone the importance of building that urgency, deadlines, as Les said. So tell them the interest rates are going up next month. Tell them the 1-year promo is ending this month. Tell them that utilities are changing their net metering policies. In California, NEM 3.0 is happening later this year, early next year. That rates are going up. So really build that urgency with your customers, set some deadlines. That's very, very powerful.
Thank you. Awesome. And you're ranking pretty high in the contest. So hats off to you as well and your recruiting skills. All right, Jarrett, what you got to share, Jarrett? Success story?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I like everyone else was pushing, rate changes going up. Unfortunately, all mine were signed yesterday after the race closed, so probably got hit a little bit hard. But nevertheless, did sign 3 deals yesterday. But one of them, it was cool because an ambassador of mine was down at Waterworld in Concord, California. Shout out Concord. She was at Waterworld, met some people. They were like sharing some shade. Started talking about solar. They were like, I got a guy for you. That night, introduced me via email. I said, when's a good time and number to call? It was yesterday at 1:30. Talked to him, set it up for 5 o'clock. Did the presentation, did saving like $200 a month, super stoked. He'd already talked to 5 other companies, saw that your boy was the truth. And then after that, didn't qualify for Mosaic. It was crushing. And I'm like, man, if you guys don't qualify for Mosaic, we got to start talking cash. We called Mosaic. It wasn't happening. I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot with GoodLeap. And I haven't used GoodLeap in over a year. I've been a Sunlight guy until Mosaic came around. Ran it with GoodLeap, and they qualified, man. And it was a flat out party over Zoom. They were busting out the drinks. It was happy times. They have referrals for me. So anyway, I just want to share all that good news for you. But yeah, yesterday, lockdown 3, and that was fun.
Woo, damn, Jared. Nice, brother. Coming from #1 mentor last month, keeping the momentum there. And just, man, having the power of 4 lenders, guys, and earning a rebate on 3 of them. Other companies like Titan are locked into 1 lender. Freedom Forever locked into 1 lender. And we've got 3 to 4, 5 lenders here with Pace, Sonova, GoodLeap, Sunlight, and Mosaic. Good shit. Good shit. All right.
Real quick, John, Mosaic has been approving people for lower dollar amounts. We're waiting to get some guidance on them for what FICO will qualify them for the 55K, the 75K or above. So we should be getting some guidance on that soon because Mosaic has been qualifying people less than GoodLeap. So if you guys have an expensive loan, just keep that in mind.
Right on, right on. All right, thanks. I'd really love to knock out the next 4. If you guys could keep it 40 seconds or so, just knock it through. Let's do David Ramsey, Luke Lewis. David, go for it.
Sure. Yeah, I had a Sunrun rep at the talk on Monday or Saturday, I mean, and we closed her first deal yesterday with a battery. So she's super stoked and already put in 5 more utility bills.
Damn. And that power day was at headquarters, right?
It was at HQ. It was super fun. Yeah.
I mean, that looks so cool. You would recruit someone and close someone if they're visiting headquarters. That's awesome, David.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Ramsey, Florida mentor, what's up?
Hey guys, big shout out to your brother, Chris Brunasso. He hooked me up with someone down here and we just closed yesterday. He's a cool guy. We're going door knocking today. So building new relationships and just really excited and happy to be considered and to be referred business. So thank you.
Love it, Ramsey. One step at a time. Ramsey even had a guest at my Vegas Power Day. And that Power Day, like Les said, guys, man, that was so amazing. You all crushed it. All of you that attended, built into, invited into, no other company you can invite guests and your team to training across 30, 40 locations across the country. Truly amazing. And Luke is one of the most impressive young men that I've met. He volunteered to be my homeowner in a role play. He raised his hand first when any questions came up. So shout out to you, Luke. Y'all need to follow Luke. What's your success, Luke?
Well, besides going to an amazing Power Day, getting to meet, some of the best people, mentors and stuff in the company, I closed my first deal on Sunday. So all around W's, just needed the first one to come through, and now it's going to be an absolute avalanche from this point. So I'm super excited to be on the rocket ship that Power is.
Hell yeah. Luke, how much are you making on that? Is it 50% or 100%?
So I'm making 50%, and it's 4,000 on that one. So
hey, Luke, do you mind sharing how young and entrepreneur spirited you are?
I'm 18, graduated high school like 3 months ago. I'm actually going to college on Thursday, and so I plan to build my business while I'm out there in Massachusetts. So looking to connect with people up there too. But
rock on, Luke.
Awesome.
You're the most impressive 18-year-old I've met in a long, long time, my friend. Keep crushing. Luis Perez, what a badass team builder, seller, mentor. You're crushing Puerto Rico. What's up, Luis?
What's up, brother? Yes, sir. Puerto Rico's coming for sure. But you know what? More than my wins, today I want to celebrate one of our newest mentor on the team, Israel Becerra. He's on the call right now. He's actually number 3 on the contest. So shout out to him and huge congrats. And Israel, if you want to say something really quick, 30 seconds, you're more than welcome, brother. And huge congrats.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone here. There's a lot of success that I have is thanks to Jonathan Brunasso, Luis Perez, and JC. So I like to thank all of you guys, because without you guys, without your knowledge, and probably wouldn't be here. And thank you guys.
Welcome. It's all the leadership on this team, all the giving culture and helping everyone that makes Powur super special. So I know there's more success stories. Want to keep it moving. Please share them in the chat if you have them. And like Luis mentioned, Israel here on the leaderboard is 3rd place. So huge shout out to you. Jordan Shaw is close on my tail. Huge shout out to Ubaldo on the team, Wally and Joel are great mentors, Chris, of course, Josh Easter in Arizona, Paul Leon, one of the best in the business. So just huge shout out to all of you crushing it or even closing your first deal, like Luke. So just 2 announcements. We'll get straight to this training, loan versus lease training. But just some reminder here, the climate bill did pass. So we're looking at a 10-year extension on the 30% tax credit. More details and info to come, but the amount of money that's going to be put into this industry, renewable industry, the tax credit extension, heat pumps, EVs, EV chargers, solar, batteries. Guys, I mean, we said this last week, but this is the time to really get into this and start building your business, because we're all going to do really well for the next 5-10 years, and everything Powur's ever dreamt of is happening now, especially with the Inc. 43 announcement. So very excited for that stuff. A few trainings coming up soon. If you want, take a screenshot of this. But today we're going to do lease versus loan training. Every Tuesday, 12 o'clock Pacific in the calendar is lease versus loans. I'm sorry, I'm so confused here. Every Tuesday is Seller Tuesday Powur calendar in the calendar at 12 Pacific, so attend that. Every Monday, JC Rengalen team does a training as well at 10 Pacific. And then next Monday, as always, 5 o'clock Pacific. For those of you guests and new people here, Powur always does a 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern business presentation that you can build into, and the attendance there has been pretty high recently, so feel free to use that. Next Tuesday, Tom Cotter is going to be leading this Tuesday training with Bobby Smith, how to build teams on the road, how to build your business, attract referral partners. It's going to be really powerful. Everything he's ever taught me and bugged me about for 3 years has all been beneficial and has all come true. Following Tuesday, Adam Robertson, a Vegas leader, is going to be teaching on sales and communication and mindset and words, verbiage. I'm literally using things that he's already taught me in his Zoom training. And then we'll have Clearwater Insurance and much, much more as well. The contest going on till September 15th, giving away a Fisker Ocean 20 impact journey, build a home, and work hard, play hard, lots of cash and gifts. And again, shout out to all the people on the leaderboard there. All right, so today, let me stop my screen share. Today, we're going to hear from a leader who is with this team and Kiara Smithy. And Eoin is in Northern California. He's been in here for quite some time. Northern California, we know, has been through some struggles and some ups and downs, and it's getting better, and there's a new operations manager coming. But there's a theme to being Inc. 43 and to making hundreds and hundreds and seven figures. It's not giving up. And Eoin, just shout out to you. You didn't give up. You stuck it out. You've helped others. You've led with confidence and humility, and you've helped other people on the team that weren't even under you, and you're closing deals. And I think we're all going to reap the rewards of that. So let's jump into today's training. Type any questions into the chat, and feel free to share your screen, Eoin.
Yes, how's everyone doing? Thanks for the shout out, JB. I'd say the reason I've stuck through with Powur is I like the mission we're on. But the most important thing is that we listen, right? So we had a couple issues and we've gotten through it. Sellers have gotten better, communication's getting better, and we adjust. So I'm a huge believer in that. I've worked for smaller companies, and the good thing about small companies is they listen and adjust. For being such a big company that's growing, the reason I believe in Powur is that we adjust and we grow. So I appreciate the shout out and all these trainings. I've learned so much compared to other solar companies. So check out Jonathan Brunasso's YouTube channel. I pass videos to my mentees all the time so they can get good trainings. But so today, let me share my screen here. Hopefully you don't see my messy background here. Oops. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. So we're talking about loans, PPAs, and leases. I don't like to use word verse because they're all beautiful and great. And we're all on a happy planet. But yes, there are some perks, pros and cons to each. Just a little background about myself. I've helped over 100 homeowners successfully switch to solar. I was a COVID, I lost my job because of COVID before, worked in sales for about 6 years in the wine industry, and worked in the restaurant industry as well. What I like to bring to the solar industry is be more than just a sales rep who makes a sales call and closes the deal. I want to be there for my client from start to finish, and also help them understand their bill, understand how their Enphase or SolarEdge app works and how it applies to utility. While we were doing some of the accolades there, I was just texting a client and teaching her how to use her Enphase app. So all that stuff really goes a long way, especially for referrals. And I'm not going to lie, I knocked doors in the beginning and I hated it. So my goal was, how do I not knock doors again? The secret that I took was get to level 3. I did it in a month, and mentor as many deals as possible and become a reputable mentor. My goal now is to build a team and keep on growing, fill in as many buckets as I can. Ultimately, though, why I chose the solar industry, when I was in the wine industry, I got to travel all around the world. I love traveling. I'm an Irish immigrant, so I think naturally being on a plane from being 1 to 7 to maybe 8 times before I was even 10 to go into other countries, I've seen the destruction, and it's pretty sad. So the good thing about this job is we can make money, we can help people, and we can help the planet and build something for my son in the future. You know, you can be filthy rich, But if there's no animals or anything like that, that's a really sad thing to me. Now, these are some photos of me. Here's in Mendoza. These are Malbec grapes, very big grapes. It's a fabulous job. Here's me and my pregnant wife in Switzerland. And then here's my identical twin brother. Yes, I'm the real twin in Powur, but he does cinematography. This is actually his new wife. We were in Switzerland. This is Gruyere. I was mostly in Europe for the whole month of June. It was expensive. And by the time I got back, I had more money in my bank account than what I left with. And that's because of Powur. I literally shut down calls. I have the options of freedom. So I would suggest for anybody, build this up and have work-life balance and work when you want. I love that freedom. So when I think of my son for his ability to travel the world and see the earth the way I have, to see the animals I was talking about, and just have the ability to take a full breath of fresh oxygen. I want to be the dad who didn't become a social justice warrior from Facebook. Instead of that, my computer was used to help people. So I'm closing deals virtually, pretty much 3 or 4 a week right now. Heading into the subject today, just not to talk about how great I am. I'm not that great. I'm more mediocre. We're going to review the different ways we can sell deals with Powur. First, we will discuss the different loan companies we work with, including the pros and cons of each. Not all loan companies are the same. And that's, when I joined this company, I focused on the tech. So you kind of understand the tech. And then when it comes to finance, you really need to indulge and understand the finance and the different perks of each and what services you can provide for your client. It will definitely separate you from the competition. Even what Jared was talking about earlier, the ability to pivot is fantastic. So we'll go over PPAs and lease options as well. And I'll explain how these work when it comes to transfership. That's a very important subject to understand. And then JB and I will also do some scenarios. So first, maybe you guys recognize the screen, maybe some of the new people don't. When I'm scrolling through my proposal, this is where I stop, okay? This is the portion where I look at my client and I ask them, what's your game plan? How do you plan on paying for this? Do you want a 20-year, 10-year loan? How do you attack debt? So this is a portion where I want to figure out what kind of loan they want. For example, the 20-year 0.99 is kind of my go-to. But if somebody says, I plan on paying this off in 5 years, that's not the best case. You want to switch up the loan at that point. So I think what I've seen in a lot of newer reps is we're scared to ask those questions, but you're already here. And when you ask these questions, you're going to separate yourself from the pack. So really focus on kind of take the guts to ask that question. When it comes down to it, they've been waiting for this moment the whole time. You've done the whole presentation, gone over all the tech, kind of gone over who you are, who Powur is, but they've been waiting to see the quote, right? Let's face it. So coming in with the appropriate quote and walking them through it is the best way to do it. So that is an important step. And then it comes down to which finance company are you going to pick? Now, for anybody who's done a Mosaic training, I just want everybody to know that Prince is one of their biggest investors. This is not actually Prince. This is actually Dave Chappelle. If you haven't seen that episode, you need to watch it now. It's a fantastic episode. So Mosaic is a fantastic option. They've been with Powur now for maybe 6-7 months. We like their flexibility and also the fact that you can get a loan with a 600 credit score or above. They're not as focused on DTI. They actually have an algorithm that will determine based off your payback methods. They figure out this is the kind of person who pays loans on time, isn't late on bills. That's a very important factor for them. So even with Jarrett, what he said earlier, not to bring him up again, they failed with Mosaic and then they passed the Good Leap, right? What could have happened is maybe they missed a couple payments. So if you get failed with Mosaic, the ability with Powur to pivot to another loan company, and the fact that this is a soft credit check and so is Good Leap, that's a pretty good transition. So you can also add household income with a cosigner. Really cool feature, especially if you have roommates. This is a soft credit check, like I mentioned, with lower dealer fees, and the stipulations are very simple. One of the cons is that the loan will only re-amortize one time, and that is at the 18-month period. Let's see, the Zoom thing's in the way here. Nope. Great for jobs that cost less than $55,000, and then there's no lease or PPA options. I mentioned the $55,000. That's what they've been giving us lately. My theory is with Fed rates and kind of the way the market is right now, maybe that will get higher. I can imagine underwriters just being a little pickier right now. We also have Good Leap. Standard loans require a 640 score or greater. They do have some other options if you don't pass. They are a soft credit check, and a lot of options include a lot of extra options, including the flex pay. The loan can be re-amortized 6 times, which just means the homeowner has to pay an additional $2,500 in extra principal payments to do so. They do have some higher dealer fees, minimum stipulations. They're definitely the less, I found the least picky as far as underwriters go, but obviously with a higher dealer fee to offset that. So loans only, and they're great for the funky jobs. And if you haven't had a funky job yet, don't worry, you'll get one. It'll be fun. You'll make it through it. We'll laugh about it because every single solar pro has had that kind of job. A very important note with them is do not forget the photo of the driver's license front and back. Please don't forget that. There's also Sunlight, 650 score or higher. They also do have other options if you have a lower score. One of the bigger cons on this, it is a hard credit check. You can do a pre-qualify on it, but to get things rolling, you do have a hard check. The Sunlight Rewards program is great. You get points. I got a Roomba. I actually got 2 Roombas, some sunglasses as well. Loans can be re-amortized again after month 18. One of the biggest cons is I've had some pretty picky underwriters, a lot of stipulations, and they do have a 30-year loan option as well. Now, leading into it, SunNova, they've been with us probably about a year now. They do offer loans, PPAs, and leases. They are the only PPA and lease option with Powur. They come with a 25-year warranty on loans, and this also includes batteries. So this is a great option if you have a battery and want to add that extra warranty. You do need to get certified, and there are some extra steps to get a quote. I wouldn't even recommend it. Working with the mentor is highly recommended, but if you want to start selling SunNova on your own, you do need to take that course and take it seriously, because it is easy we're talking about communication from solo to SunNova. You are pretty much manually doing that yourself. So some of the, some options here, the differences between a loan and a PPA. The federal tax credit goes to the homeowner on a loan. Great for ownership and equity building, easier for transfership when selling your home. On that note, one thing I always tell my homeowners, these loans are transferable, okay? But what most people are gonna do is, this is what I pitch to my homeowners. Suppose your house is worth $1 million at the point of sale. You also say, well, I have a $30,000 solar system. You're 10 years into a loan, you add the $30,000 of value to the house. So you can actually just pay off the system at that point on escrow. So there is that flexibility, pretty much making the point that you've been paying into an equity that can be paid off. So your money essentially, it's in some terms is going to come back to you, not in full, because maybe the system is not going to be valued as high. So you also do have excess energy credits going back to the homeowner. And then this is a UCC filing fixture. There is no lien. It's essentially on the ownership of the panels. We have the PPAs and leases, which Jonathan Brunasso is a much bigger expert in that realm than I am, but I'll read off some of this here for you. So the homeowner does not get a tax credit, does not affect debt to income ratio, comes with a system performance production guarantee, definitely avoids sticker shock. We all know we've had that deal. You've shown them that good monthly cost on the 20-year 0.99, and you're stuck at the part where the price is, you scroll down to the total cost, you can definitely get some sticker shock on that. So active monitoring, warranty, repairs, insurance, and then options at time of sale for transfer or buyout. One thing of note is that typically buyout can only be done after 5 years after installation. And that is based off fair market value. You have a 25-year agreement, and then at the end of the term, you have options. You can buy it out, transfer it, remove it, or upgrade. And just like before, this is not holding a lien on the house.
I'll I'll jump in a little bit on that one, Owen, if you want to go back for me real quick.
Yeah.
One important call out here, and we're not saying one is right or wrong. You know, Powur sells more loans for a reason and cash. But one of the things I do want to point out here is that it does have insurance. So that's one kind of pro. Now, a lot of insurance companies like State Farm, if your customer's purchasing solar, already has funds to cover the solar. So they don't always have to increase the annual deductible. If a customer asks you, you know, Ramsey, I'm buying the solar, is this increasing my insurance? Do I have to call my insurance agent? I normally say, oftentimes the insurance already has buffers for solar and add-ons and fixtures, but you may want to let them know. And often it's only increasing your annual deductible $70, $120 a year. And I always say, you know, if you have a fire or an earthquake or a meteor hits your house, you probably have bigger problems than your solar panels. And we laugh and we kind of move on. So those are my techniques for insurance, but I just wanted to point that out, that when it's a lease PPA, someone else owns it, Sonova, or there's also Sunrun or SunPower out there in the industry. And so they technically insure it. So just wanted to add that.
Is that the same, JB, just to jump in there with Florida? I know that there needs to be, I think it's $1 million insurance on the house. Is that the same even for a PPA? Or PPAs are illegal in Florida, right?
You could do, I believe, a lease, and we'll get to that on the next slide. Yeah, some states don't allow PPAs. They have to be a lease. And in those situations, again, the leasing company has the insurance. But maybe if a Florida mentor wants to type in the chat, there are requirements above a certain system size to have insurance in Florida. It gets a little trickier.
Got it. So just kind of going over the three here, there is a difference between what Sonova offers is we have leases, easy PPAs, and a PPA. So with the standard or classical traditional, or what is called a PPA, monthly price changes depending on production. You only pay for what you produce per month, and then it's fixed, or we have an escalator, which I'll explain here, and I think is on the next slide.
And I want to just add in too, guys, you know, when a lot of us first started in the industry 6 years ago, 8 years ago, a PPA was what you actually pay for what it produces. So if it produces 800 kilowatt hours in May, you're paying for that in May. And if in October it only produces 550, you're paying for that. So a traditional PPA, the monthly does change every single month. What you'll find more now in the market, Sunrun or the easy PPA, is that they've kind of done the best of both worlds. So they fix the monthly. So I just wanted to add that, but let's keep going with the lease here.
I guess the point on that too, if you think about it, you know, one of the perks of solar is you want to know your predictable payment, which is why the PPA easy came into place. So this is not allowed in some markets. We were kind of hitting that before there. With leases, you're going to have a fixed monthly price. There is no buyout option. You do have a production guarantee. And then once again, there's a fixed or escalator. With the easy PPA, probably the more common PPA we're using these days, you're going to have a fixed monthly price that adjusts annually based on production and guarantee. And then there is buyout options. It's fixed or has an escalator and not allowed in some markets.
Yeah, and that's a Nova product, guys, the Easy PPA. It's my favorite. I've sold quite a bit. It's a fixed monthly, but it actually adjusts up or down annually. So if it underproduces, the next year the monthly will go down to make up for that. And that's your production guarantee. There's buyout options, it's instant savings, there's no debt to income ratio affected, there's no loan, there's no cash. There's a little bit more monitoring actively and insurance. So there are certain unique situations that we'll get into where it can be better, but often the loan or cash is what we find to be more popular.
So just a kind of a breakdown, get a little more specific. This is a 25-year agreement. This is leading into the non-lease PPA or PPA Easy. The option to buy the system out can only be done after 5 years or end at 25 years, where the fair market value will be assessed at that point. 85% system production guarantee over 25 years, or they will pay you a check. And then you have fixed or escalators. So monthly price can be fixed or go up annually from 1.9 to 2.9. So when you're actually in the SunNova portal creating a PPA, you have the option to add this. So this will affect how much your margin will be, which once again, very important to do the training and pay attention. Transferable when you sell your home. There's no debt for the new homeowner. And then examples here, you have a 10 kilowatt system. It produces 15,000 kilowatts hours a year. And then your easy PPA price is at 15 cents or $2,250 or $187.50 a month. Now, a big push is door knockers. They push the PPAs a lot, especially with some of these buzzwords: zero down, don't pay for your solar, free install, don't worry about your system. Kind of to set it and forget it. One thing I wanted to show you though, on the escalators. So just a basic, I started this with $100 on both sides. So every year it's increasing. It's not like it's going up $3. You have to think about it as every year it's, on this case, $299. It's increasing pretty, not dramatically, but at the end of the term, it does go up pretty high. So one of the arguments I would have is, if you're going to be paying this money, if you're going to be paying interest, it might as well be better to go with the loan. But just a heads up on those escalators. It may seem low with a 299 or a 199, but I'd say if you want to do your client right, it might be good to do no escalator, but that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, pros and cons. When it comes to fixed versus escalator, if you do an escalator, there's guaranteed savings those first 6 to 12 years, and then you would break even with the fixed. So it really depends on the homeowner's goals. Do they like the comfort of fixed and it's easier to transfer later? Or do they really want to make sure they grab those savings those first 6 to 8 years and go ahead and transfer the escalator later? And on that slide too, Owen, real quickly, like I just, used a common California example, 15 cents a kilowatt hour. Now I do want to do a little exercise. That customer at 187 could be paying 33 cents a kilowatt. So if y'all want to take out your calculators real fast, take out your cell phones. You're already on Instagram. 15,000 kilowatt hours at 33 cents is almost $5,000 a year, or $412 per month. Now, in that example that you just had up, Owen, at 15 cents, I think the monthly was what, 187?
All right. Sorry, I forgot to do the math too late here.
That's all good. I think we were at 187.
Oh, yeah.
On that screen. So 187, right? So if you could do a lease or PPA and give someone 187 when they're at 412, I mean, that's pretty cool. And if they do want an escalator, if you took 187 on your calculator and you times by 1.029. In year 2, Mr. Customer, it's 192. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 years, Mr. Customer, it's 241 with a 2.9 escalator. Now, what was your bill? 412. Okay, let's keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're at 320. You know, so it's kind of cool. I mean, it's not for everyone, but the idea that with an escalator, we can agree that inflation is 6 to 12%, right, Mr. Customer? So 2.9 is actually less than inflation. So it's not that bad compared to what your utility has been doing, going up 4 to 12% every year. So just to get off into the weeds on the escalator and the PPA and the lease conversation for y'all.
For sure, especially with utilities. I mean, PG&E, for example, I can't even keep track of how much it's gone up in the past year.
And why don't you share your story about the door knocker that was trying to slam him on a PPA lease, didn't tell him about a tax credit too. I mean, that's a good story. Yeah.
So I had a lead come to me in Arizona, and you know, the appointment was set and she wanted a PPA. So I, of course, created a PPA loan for her. So my presentation, I went through the pros and cons of the PPA. And at the end, I said, I asked the question, I said, so are you still working? Yes, I'm a full-time nurse and my husband owns a trucking company. And I said, okay, so you have some tax appetite. She goes, absolutely. And I said, well, she had a Tesla solar at her previous house. She just bought this house and she had a PPA. So I said, well, have you considered a loan? Because you'll get a tax credit. And also your monthly payment will be locked in if you throw the tax credit back in. So we went over the whole thing and I immediately had no competitors. So as far as my margin, it was still healthy. I did her right. But I immediately eliminated every single person. She was talking to 2, 3 other people only coming with the PPA option. So when it came to the loan, she was like, why wouldn't I do this? And she trusted me because I asked her the right questions about her financial situation and how that loan and tax credit could be useful for her. So I think really asking the questions, and when people tell you they want a PPA, that's fine, come with the PPA, but then, you know, once you present it to them, say, I also have this option. Have you considered this? You know, finding the scenarios is great, and finding the context and how it can apply to them. I mean, it's going to separate you from the pack. So, you know, she just wasn't educated about it. And that's what our job is education. So that was a really cool story. And I think I just got paid on that yesterday. So it was fantastic. Leading into that, I think, JB, what I was talking about earlier is playing some scenarios, whether what loan to fix or in a PPA situation. Do you want to just open up my proposal and we can play a little scenario?
Yeah, let's go for it. And yeah, just on that note, like we said, door knockers tend to slam or only be taught how to slam the PPA lease. So if you come in as the expert with both options and educate, you're going to look better right away. And they're very, very seldom examples where it does make sense, guys. Like, I helped a retired single old lady with no taxable income. She liked the idea of a fixed budget. Everything in her life's on a budget. She liked the idea that that's kind of someone else is owning it, and is a very unique situation. Her neighbor had a lease, and so she wanted the lease. And I wasn't gonna change that. So it's very rare where it is needed, but as long as you're the expert, you work with a mentor or Sonova certified mentors, you're going to stand out amongst the competition. All right, let's get into it.
Got it. So I had a screenshot of this in the presentation. So I've gone through the equipment. It's the best equipment. I explained why I built the system the way I did. And now this is a time where I think some reps, I don't know if they get anxious or scared. You've already come this far. So this is where I ask my clients, okay, well, no, now it comes down to how are we going to finance this project? I have finance options, Mr. Brunasso. Were you thinking about paying for this with cash, or would you like to explore finance options?
Probably finance. I just, depending on the cash price, I don't really want to put out that much at this time if I don't have to. You guys have financing?
Yeah, we do have financing. So a question for you, and this is actually a pretty good question. Is it you or your wife who's the CPA of the house? Are you in charge of the financing? I'm in charge of the financing. I hate it, but I'm better than my wife. So who's in charge of making the financial decisions and paying bills in the house?
Well, she helps manage the bills
Yeah.
because I'm so busy, but I'd like to take a look at it, but
Yep.
she kind of
Got
helps out. Yeah.
As far as debt, do you like to attack your debt right away, or are you the kind of person looking to set and forget it? Meaning lowest monthly payments, and then you're just going to pay the minimum payment, pay it off in 20 years?
It kind of depends on what it is, or maybe how much. If it is something I can chop away at, yes. But I know one of my friends that you helped, they got like a 20 or 25 year with a really low monthly.
Got
So
it.
I kind of wouldn't mind seeing both options, but the low monthly, like they got,
It'd be the option there, yeah?
yeah, that sounded interesting.
Perfect. So I do have this option here. This is a Good Leap Financial. It's a 1.49. It's for 20 years. It's actually going away tomorrow. Just kidding. We'd have to go to that road. But your monthly payment would be 177, and then we have the tax credit. Now, it's very important to understand these loans, and Good Leap is actually a really good loan option because it re-amortizes on month 18. But even after that, suppose you start wanting to attack this loan and pay off more, you can actually re-amortize again to decrease your monthly cost up to 6 times. This one is what I would suggest, 20-year 1.49, 177. Right now, you're paying $397 a month. Now you would be paying 177. That's some serious savings. What do you think?
It's 0 down?
Upfront cost. Yeah.
Is that the price of the energy? Like, do I still have to pay for something monthly for energy also and my loan, or is it?
So you would be paying what's called a connection fee. So you'd be paying $11 on a fixed cost. That's pretty much the cost of using the grid, almost like a bank. Your excess energy goes in like a credit, and then you debit it later. So that's what we call our connection fee. So $11 a month on your utility bill. And now you're going to have a bill swap. So you'll be paying Good Leap at 177. And that's also going to be an auto pay. I don't know about you, but it's actually easier because now I don't have to deal with all the bill handling. It's essentially.
Yeah, I normally do auto pay. And is that a fixed interest rate?
It's a fixed interest rate. One very important note though is that you have 18 months before this loan re-amortizes. So at that point, they're going to assess how much extra principal was thrown into the loan. Now you have the option, you're going to get this tax credit of $12,742. I don't want to go into the whole accounting thing, but I would ask at that point, are you familiar with the federal tax credit? Yes, no, I always make the pitch. I have a C- in accounting. It's really good to talk to your financial advisor, but let me tell you how a federal tax liability works. Pretty much based off if you're a 1099 or W-2, I go down that road and explain it. And then we can discover if this will be coming back in 1 or 2 years. You have 5 years to use this in portions. But what's really important is if you want to throw this back into the loan, your payment stays at 177 for the first 18 months. And then it will jump up to 243 if you do not pay this back into the loan. Does that make any sense?
In the first 18 months, right? So if I pocket it, it'll just go to 243, but I have 18 months to give some back.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so how much am I financing on the 243? Like, what's the dollar? Okay.
Yeah, so 49,000, and then with net that comes down to $36,267.
Yeah, I mean, you're cutting my bill 50, 60% off or something like that.
Yeah. Do you want to guess how much you're going to pay the utility? If you decide not to get solar, do you want to guess how much you're going to pay over 25 years?
100K?
We actually estimate you're going to pay $196,000 over the next 25 years.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's them going up a little bit too, right? Or something.
That's with them going up. Correct.
Okay. And then under the my payment there, it said 10 cents. The 25-year, it said, if you keep going up, it said 10 cents is my average cost per kilowatt hour. And I saw one of my neighbors got a lease that was 18 cents with a 2.9 escalator, some door knocker. And it sounded good, but are you saying that this is 10 cents fixed over 25 years?
So yeah, that's a fixed price. We're pretty much comparing it to the 39 cents per kilowatt hour that you're paying now, is that you are essentially going to be paying 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, if you don't pay the tax credit back, which 70% of people don't pay back, that's money that can be allocated to higher interest loans or to do whatever you please with it. Now, if you decide to do that, your cost is 14 cents, and that's locked as well.
So I pocket 12 grand.
Mhm.
I'm overall paying 14.4 cents fixed. And my sucker neighbor got 18 cents with a 2.9 escalator, and he's not owning it, and he's not getting 12 grand. Is that right?
That's correct. And also, I don't want to be the bad guy here. His money is now going to someone else that owns the equipment. You're going to own your equipment. Now, let's just play a scenario here. Suppose you sell your house 10 years from now, okay? Every payment you're making now is leaning towards an ownership of this system that will add estimated added value to your house. So suppose you sell your house a year from now, 10 years from now, and it's worth $1 million. What we're going to do is you say, perfect, that's $1 million, but also I have a $51,000 solar system on my house. It has a 30-year warranty, and it's transferable. Now, at that point, in theory, you've paid about half of this already. So you, at that point in escrow, you can add that cost to the house, and then you pay off the remainder of the system, and you're essentially getting some of that cash back. So that's another good perk to the loans as well.
So pay it off or transfer the monthly.
Or transfer.
That earlier, yeah.
I think what most homeowners, compared to your friend with a lease, is suppose it's a first home buyer. They've been paying rent their whole life, and they're buying a house now because they can pay a mortgage. They're paying themselves back. Now, when they come to your house and they have a lease, and now somebody else owns it, it's not as attractive. It's not as what they're looking for when they buy a house. So the fact that they can buy out the system and own it entirely is a very attractive model to them, or transfer the loan, paying off equity.
Right. Yeah, that's what my realtor said. They hate the leases and the tax liens. It's a pain in the butt.
That's another very important thing, that the real estate agents do not like PPAs, folks. Out of the scenario here, they are not a fan of them. They are not easy.
All right, is that let's go ahead and do a soft check then. Let's get going.
Got it. This is actually my dad's house, but we can't really do it anyway because there's a roof issue, but I digress. But yes, this is the Good Leap. Good Leap is a soft credit check. I don't know. Do you want me to actually click on the button?
No, it's cool. I know we're 5 minutes over the top of the hour. Anything else to add, Eoin?
Yeah, so let's just say I'm playing this scenario here and you're 75 years old. You tell me, oh, and I'm doing this for the environment. I don't have tax appetite. That's an appropriate time to go with the PPA. So not all, it doesn't fit everybody. So
right.
Really knowing your loans and PPAs is a very important tool.
I think you give them both options. Something like this that you have up right here versus a lease, and that way you're able to educate them and give them both options if they have that unique situation.
Now, just a quick scenario I had yesterday. I had a client, she was like, I'm going to pay this off in 4 years, you know? So I pivoted, went to Mosaic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, show me
Oh,
a,
what?
oh,
This
it
is
got all,
glitchy now.
it
This is
got
lit.
all jumbled.
Let me
Go
go
ahead
to,
and go to sun, yeah.
I'll go to sunlight. That needs to be adjusted. So let's just say if she tells me that scenario, what I would do is we switch to the 10-year. And the reason why is because we're lowering the dealer fee. I'm really doing her justice because her plan to pay this off in 5 years, if I do a 20-year loan, she's paying all this extra money for the upfront or capitalizing of the loan, or what we call a dealer fee. So switching to that, to the higher APR and the lower term was a much better option for her. So I actually showed her the process and finding the loan, and we talk about added value, not setting her up for failure. So I'd highly recommend asking their game plan on how they would like to attack this debt and what their plan is.
And
So
Owen, is Sonova one of the options in solo? I always recommend working with a mentor that has back-end portal access to Sonova. Sonova in here is, in my opinion, pretty messy, but let's see if you do have the easy PPA up a little bit. Easy PPA 25 years, 0.0% down a little bit. Right there in the middle of the screen. No, the easy PPA down a little bit. Right. Yeah, there you go.
there, I think it's right there, right?
Yeah, let's click on that. Just Kat had a question about commissions, you know, work with a mentor that's Sonova certified, that has the back-end portal access, that knows how to tell you the commissions, that knows how to go from cash to a Sonova proposal and show you how much you're making.
I've had a lot of problems with, not gonna lie. I would, when you put this in on a Sonova on Solo, it's gonna auto-populate on my Sonova portal. So then I adjust it on Sonova. So
right,
it's kind of clunky with Solo. It's kind of like adding 3 telephones to a line. So I think use Solo to get the cash and then figure that out on the Sonova portal. But highly recommend working with a mentor. And even your mentor, not gonna lie, it's a lot of checking and making sure that everything adds up. So do not try to do this on your own. If so, you might owe some money, or you might not make as big of a margin as you expect.
Yep. And I'm just answering a question for Bradley as far as a list of states where the PPA or lease or Sonova is available. I would go ahead and email Augie, our Sonova account manager. I put his email in the chat. Give him a business day or two to reply. Yeah, thanks, Owen. And then if you want to put that university training, I also put some knowledge-based training. And if you are tier 2, tier 3, and you want to sign up to get the back end, I put the link in the chat. Sign up there and then email Augie. It can take a week or 2 to get your back end Sonova logins all set up. So it's just kind of one of those things that a lot of us don't need too often, but it's nice to have handy if we are there, especially for solar pros, tier 3 sellers, especially.
Yeah, I and even Eli was
Thanks, Jonathan.
permanent. That's definitely do the cash. I think the videos, the Sonova portal goes over it. Definitely.
Yeah, and if you go to my YouTube and type, you go to YouTube or my YouTube and type Sonova or Brunasso Sonova training, there's 1 or 2 trainings that I've done on Sonova that show you how to enter a deal from Solo to Sonova and know your cash. So, Owen, I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording for now, and then we'll stay on for some Q&A for the next 5 minutes. But huge shout out to Owen, your leadership, your team, your mentorship, helping others, orchestrating this training today. So really appreciate you all. Thanks, Owen.
Mm-hmm.